This is after the flag following round 8 of the 2022 MotoGP World Championship, the Italian Grand Prix. It certainly promised plenty with the mixed-up grid following the incredible qualifying session yesterday, and boy, did it deliver. A brilliant battle at the front. In the end, Pecco Bagnaia takes his second victory of the season in 2020. He had far too much in the end for Fabio Quartararo, who took second place, and another podium finish for Aprilia and Aleix Espargaro, just underlining their World Championship contender credentials in 2022. But we'll start with the winner, Pecco Bagnaia, taking victory. Speculated before the race, trying to work out what kind of race we would get, and suggesting that whoever got to the front of that front row first, the inexperienced riders on the front row who could maybe get that break early on, would ultimately take victory. And in the end, it was that crucial break that Pecco Bagnaia made to get out that little 1 second advantage that really made a difference. Yeah, I mean, I think we all picked Pecco as the favourite coming into this one. Last night we all had a bit of a chat about it. Pretty much all picked him, but I think he rode even better than I expected. You know, it was a beautiful ride, kind of like without the hard work of Jerez, but as good as Jerez. You know, he just not a foot wrong. Great job of getting through the pack. And then, I mean, for an example, he reeled off 47.2 with 4 laps to go, and I think that's what broke Fabio's effort. And I mean, that fast, I saw a lot of people on pit wall just go, wow, because that sort of time so late in the race is like awesome, and he was awesome today. As you say, there were no real mistakes from Pecco Bagnaia or from Fabio Quartararo in that battle at front. It was reminiscent of Jerez in some ways, in that we are really seeing, between those two in particular, for the second time in 3 races, just pure excellence between Pecco Bagnaia and Fabio Quartararo. They are the class of the field at the moment. That is exactly how I feel. We haven't even spoken about it. The excellence those guys have shown. And again, once Fabio came through and the two of them were left out front, it was very similar to Jerez to me, just a battle of wills. I'm sure, again, they have huge respect for each other. And yeah, excellence. But I'm sure we're going to get on to Fabio. But again, Fabio's efforts today, we'll let you lead it, it was amazing. Yeah, brilliant effort from Fabio Quartararo. He did everything he could to try and stay with Pecco Bagnaia in that Grand Prix. The early stages of the Grand Prix were really entertaining. The battles between Bagnaia, Quartararo, as they're trying to make their way through the field. We'll hear from the top 3 very, very shortly. But while we've got the chance in those early stages, the rookies held their own, didn't they? The likes of Marco Bezzecchi, Fabio Di Giannantonio started from the front row of the grid. Many expected them to drop down the field, but they held their own against the elite of MotoGP. Yeah, Di Giannantonio, great effort in the beginning, etc. He did what we kind of expected the rookies to do, you know, get swallowed up by the more experienced guys. But that's what makes Bezzecchi's ride even more impressive, for him to be able to hold them off and go there. I mean, I would have been worried if I was VR46 management on the pit wall when I saw Aleix, more experienced guy over race distance, hunting them down. He was sitting behind them, and he did get by. But I think Bez especially did an amazing job to hang on, you know. A good ride from Luca with a year more experience. So, but Bez out of the rookies was the most impressive. Yeah, these were the VR46 Ducatis earlier on. They were running 1 and 2, of course, on the opening lap of this Grand Prix. A special weekend, of course, for Valentino Rossi, who's seen his number 46 officially retired, and he will certainly love seeing his 2 riders at the front of the Grand Prix. This was the battle between Marini and Bezzecchi. They were challenging for the podium right the way to the end of the Grand Prix. In the end, Aleix Espargaro had too much for them. Johann Zarco just picking off Marco Bezzecchi towards the end of the Grand Prix to finish in 4th position, with Marco Bezzecchi in 5th position. But as far as Ducati are concerned, you have to say they are the class of the field in many respects. That's the 5th victory now for Ducati across their 2 different kinds of bikes. We've seen 3 victories for the 21 and now 2 for the 22. Pecco Bagnaia, still an awful long way to go. He's 41 points off the World Championship lead. We'll come back to that in a moment, but we're ready to bring you some live reaction. We're going to start with the rider who finished in 2nd place. Fabio Quartararo retains his World Championship lead. He's extended his championship lead today. A brilliant ride for him as he fought everything to try and stay on terms with the Ducati. 2nd place for him. He's talking to Matt Burt.
Yeah, thanks, Lewis. I think all I can say is, wow. Fabio, what an amazing ride. Not back-to-back wins here, Mugello, I'm sure you wanted, but second place against all those super fast Ducatis on what's been quite a difficult weekend for you as well. That looked like one of the toughest second places of your career, but one of the very best.
Yes, to be honest, is like I said, I think it's the best race of my career. Not big, of course, I prefer to win, but the way I fight during the race, and we arrive with no confidence to the race. Before the race, I said if I finish P6, P5 will be a really great result, and we finished P2, amazing race, finishing less than half second from Pecco, and I feel I was faster, but you know, it's tough to overtake, and we were missing a little bit of horsepower. But anyway, I feel happy, and I feel that today we make a massive job because we finished on the podium, and I didn't expect that.
All weekend you said you've been struggling, not necessarily with top speed, of course you want more engine performance, but I think you've lacked the turning, which we know around this track has been a real strong point for you and for Yamaha. Didn't look like you had any problems like that in the race, so what was the big change?
So basically I think it was strange because of course arriving here the main problem was the top speed before to arrive. But Friday and Saturday basically I didn't complain any time about the top speed because I knew it was much more bigger problems than the top speed. So it was also great, you know, to don't think about the top speed, and you know, I arrived into the race with no confidence, but we just say okay, we go back with the standard bike from all the beginning of the year, and we see how it's going. And was going well straight away. I could really brake hard, feeling the front, and if I'm feeling the front, I know even if the bike is struggling a little bit, I can be super fast, and is what happened.
And what's it like going down into San Donato when you've got Ducatis everywhere? I mean, you were so good on the brakes in that first corner. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen you brake as late as that in that turn one. Superb to watch, but I mean, it must have been so difficult. You're literally right on the limit every corner, every lap.
Yes, I was on the limit every lap. I feel the bike was, you know, on the limit. I could not put the bike more on the edge, and you know, I love riding my bike, and I was having a lot of fun today. I didn't know where I was gonna end in the position, but I have a lot of fun, you know, when you try to be the fastest as possible. I had Bezzecchi, a group behind me at 08, 07, and I was pushing like hell to catch Pecco, because I was not even looking my pit board, because I knew if I was going to catch Pecco, it was going to be the fastest I could go. So was really good.
You said you had a lot of fun. We certainly had a lot of fun watching you out there today, Fabio. You mentioned your mum after the race. Well, it's Mother's Day back in France. I'm sure you'd like to say a few words for her. And also that lovely tribute on the slowdown lap when you picked up the flag for Jason DePasquet after last year, which was such a special tribute from you, Fabio.
Yes. About Jason, I think it's 1 year that he passed away. So this race, of course, was to remember him, his family. And yeah, it was tough last year, but you know, I send all the best to the family. For sure, it's still tough. And for my mom, I didn't say nothing this morning because I wanted to make a good race and wish her a good Mother's Day with a great result. So in the park for me, I could call her and wish her a good day, and to all the mothers in the world.
Well, today you did the Quartararo family proud, and you did the Pasquet family proud as well. Many congratulations, Fabio.
Thank you very much.
He certainly did Yamaha proud as well, didn't he, this afternoon? Fabio Quartararo, a sensational second place for him. He said after the race, we heard from Lynn Jarvis saying it felt like a victory in many respects for Yamaha. And interesting to hear him talking about the progress that they made through the weekend, Yamaha. He said he was struggling to turn the bike as well as he would like on Friday, but they've actually in some ways gone back a step to make that progress. Of course, they were coming to this Grand Prix just hoping, keeping their fingers crossed for this new aero to make the difference, but by going back a step, he found that old feeling he was looking for.
Yeah. First of all, isn't Fabio wonderful? You know, he melts all our hearts. You know, that was really, really good. And he's, like I keep saying, he's like that on camera and off camera. Fabio's ride today was awesome. It was probably the best ride of the season so far that I've seen. And not just from him, full stop. And also, I've got to say, Fabio, if you show everybody's performance, you know, put it on a little chart over the whole year, he so deserves to be leading. He's consistently the most excellent, you know, and today was extra excellent. Was wonderful to watch. Yeah, during what you're saying about the step back to get a step forward, during, I think it was FP2 or 4, I can't remember, with the new aero on it, which is more like last year, less downforce. He was doing a bit of a wheelie over the rise. And I remember saying on commentary that you got to be careful aiming at top speed because you only use it once a lap. The extra downforce, he said, helped wheelie, and you use that off every corner. So it looks like they've gone back. Yeah, they lost a bit of top speed, but they gained off every corner, and he put it to good use.
He certainly did. He put it to good use to finish second today. He couldn't quite keep up, though, with the brilliant Pecco Bagnaia, who took his second victory of the season, banishing some of the demons from last time out at Le Mans. Your home winner is now speaking to Matt Burt.
Yeah, thanks, Lewis. I'm here with our race winner, Pecco Bagnaia. Pecco, an Italian rider on an Italian bike in an Italian team in the Italian Grand Prix. The race winner, celebrating in front of your home crowd. The Ducatisti here were out in force. Is that one of the most special days of your Grand Prix career so far?
Maybe. It was incredible. I just tried to manage a great start, but I didn't, because I arrived in the first corner that I was behind, and was very important to overtake the rider in front as soon as possible, because I chose the front medium, and staying behind some riders were a problem, can be a problem. So I just tried to overtake riders. When I arrived to Bezzecchi, I tried to overtake him in the straight, because I was knowing that my first braking was hard, and just tried to set my pace. And was enough to open a gap to control the other riders. Today the grip was not the best. I struggled a bit to be constant with the rear tire, but speaking with Aleix and Fabio, they had the same problem. So maybe it was for the rain of tonight, and nothing. Just we have to be very happy about the result. After the crash in Le Mans, was important to restart from a result like this. It was not easy, because Mugello is always a tricky track. But we managed to do a perfect weekend.
And what was it like, of course, coming back through the pack? You know Luca Marini and Marco Bezzecchi so well. You spent so much time with them back in Italy at the ranch, but racing them together in MotoGP, fighting at the front, I bet it was kind of weird, but also super special as well.
It's super special, yeah. I was happy for them. I was angry for me, but happy for them yesterday, because it's like a victory for all the academy. Looking them starting from second and third position was great, and today I was fighting with them for the top positions was great. Marco and Luca were riding so well, so I would like to have more battle with them during the year.
It looked like you were managing the gap at the front quite comfortably, but Fabio was keeping the pressure on you. I mean, was that difficult to manage, or did you always feel quite confident and comfortable leading the race and managing?
It was not easy. Compare Jerez was more difficult, because in Jerez the pace was similar, but we had the possibility to push from the start. In this track was more to manage, and was not easy because the rear was sliding a lot in the entry. So I was struggling a lot to stop the bike and to entry, because the rear was always sliding a lot, and I lose the rear a lot of time during the race. But finally, thanks to this gap that I gained in the start of the race, I had the possibility to manage a bit more, and this race are the race that I like.
And that cool-down lap where you're celebrating with the Ducati fans, throwing your gloves and your boots into the crowd, and then you come on to the top step of the podium in Mugello. That's a moment I'm sure you dreamt of as a kid, watching Mugello all those years ago, Valentina winning so many races. You've done it here today. It must be so super special and sweet.
And also, it's only my second podium here. So my last podium here, and was the first, was in 2016. And I struggled a lot to be again on the podium. Last year was hard for emotion, but this year was very important to do it. For me, for my team, for the fans, and it's something where I dreamed of from when I was young, because Mugello is Mugello, and Misano is my home Grand Prix, but Mugello is the Italian Grand Prix. So it was very important to do the best result possible, and more than this is impossible.
Well, this makes me even more happy to say than Pecco Bagnaia. Congratulations, you're the winner of the Italian Grand Prix. Well done, mate.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, this is the one they all want to win in MotoGP if you're an Italian rider, especially if you're on an Italian bike within an Italian team. So Pecco Bagnaia, with his second win of the season, he's now 41 points behind Fabio Quartararo in the chase for the World Championship. Where do we think the balance of power lies then in this championship? We'll talk about Aleix Espargaro in just a moment. We're going to hear from him in a moment. But Fabio Quartararo now extends his lead over Aleix Espargaro. Pecco Bagnaia has now moved himself back into the frame again. And Enea Bastianini, who seems to be all or nothing in 2022. He's taken 3 victories, but he's now lost more crucial ground with another mistake.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning to me after the flag Le Mans, I think, because that's where he last won, is he a serious championship contender? We're talking about Bastianini, and I remember saying, look, he's won here, but he's going to have some downs. And I say that because he's still in his second year. Him and Jorge Martin are awesome riders. They're only in their second year, and they're still making the mistakes that you learn from to become the finished product, which I believe they will be next year, you know. And so I just fully expect it, and I want to say to the beast, don't get down, because this is part of it, you know, to polish you to be the finished product, and you'll get there. Yeah, about Ducati fully deserved to win this one. Coming into it, we knew they were the strongest machine, and they had a lot of guys out there, and the best man did win, you know. And so, congratulations to them. That's all I can say.
Well, we're seeing a real pattern emerge, aren't we, in 2022, particularly with regards to the Aprilia team, who had a good news weekend with Aleix Espargaro and Maverick Viñales announcing 2-year extensions with the team. They're going to have a satellite team as well next season with the R&F squad, and now 4 consecutive podiums for Aleix Espargaro. He's firmly in that championship picture as we head towards the halfway stage of the season. And it's a measure of where they're at now that he spoke to you in Parc Fermé and he said, I was hoping and expecting more than this.
Yeah, he wanted to win. He was furious yesterday. Remember, anyone that watched Q2, he was very, very angry because he was aiming at fighting in that front group today for the win, and it makes it so hard when you don't get a good qualifying, and it was a dodgy qualifying, wasn't it? You had to take risk. There was a bit of luck timing-wise. It didn't go well for him. He was down in, was it 7th or something? Yeah, he wasn't as far up as he wanted to be, and that made it harder for him for the race, and he did have to work hard, didn't he, you know, to come through those guys. Watching it, though, it didn't look like the Aprilia could quite go. It didn't have the strengths quite of the Ducati, but Aleix surprised us all again, meaning just the pure fight in him, determination, not making mistakes, so easy to fall off, and he didn't. So hats off to Aleix. And Aprilia, talking to Romano Alberciano in Parc Fermé, he said that they have some things to improve and they're going to. So
yeah, we've been to enough circuits now in 2022, enough different circuits that tell us that Aprilia aren't going to go away in 2022, nor Aleix Espargaro. They're in this for the long haul. Of course, this weekend they had a brand new engine that Aleix Espargaro ran in the Grand Prix. Of course, for the rest of this season, they remain essentially a concessions manufacturer because not all of those concessions are lifted until the start of next season. Could that be a real trump card for Aleix Espargaro in this title chase?
Very much so, because the concessions mean you're allowed 2 more engines over the whole season. It also means at the beginning of the year, when everyone else turns up and gives Danny Aldridge, you know, like race control, a box of parts samples, and so they can check any time during the year to make sure that's what they're running. Aprilia don't even have to do that. All they have to do is be 81 mil bore size and 1,000 cc not over. You know, engine-wise, they can change up and it's pretty cool. They did use a bit of a trump card here by bringing an update engine-wise. It's just takes a long time to develop an engine and prove it kilometers-wise. Once you start an engine, it's got to do about 2,000 kilometers for you. And if that's the case, it's got to be proven. You can't just bring something and risk it. So I think it'll be hard for them to bring something brand new before the end of the year, but at least they've got this one to play with at the fast tracks.
They have indeed. Well, Aleix Espargaro is ready to talk to us then after a 4th consecutive podium for him. He's still within 8 points of the World Championship leader, Fabio Quartararo. Let's hear from him now with Matt Burt.
Yeah, thanks, Lewis. It's been a weekend of nothing but good news for the factory Aprilia team and Aleix Espargaro. Aleix, pre-weekend, you signed a new 2-year contract with the team. They announced on Saturday that they're going to have 4 bikes on the grid next year, and you round off Aprilia's home Grand Prix on the podium here in Mugello. It was a very good weekend all round, wasn't it?
Yeah, you know, I'm very happy. I mean, it has been absolutely a fantastic weekend. It's a shame that yesterday I was not able to be a little bit more competitive in the qualifying. I knew that it will be difficult, you know, to overtake in the race. The VR46 guys were awesome because with the lack of experience they had, they made no mistakes. They were very fast. So unfortunately, I lose some time there, precious time that at the end doesn't allow me to fight for the victory. But as you just mentioned, a lot of very beautiful things for us during this weekend. I think I put a good show out there. So I hope that everybody from Aprilia, it was a lot of people from Piaggio in the garage. So I hope they enjoy with the fight. And yeah, I mean, the podium has been a good trophy.
Did you get a feeling that this race was a little bit like Jerez, where you got stuck behind Mark and Jack? Likewise here, if you'd have got through on the Ducatis a little bit early, it might have been a different story. I mean, it's never easy to race and overtake Ducatis around this circuit, but was that a similar story to Jerez, you feel?
Not that much. I mean, I overtake a lot. I overtake in the first lap 3 or 4 times, then I fight with Johan, then I fight also with the 2 Muni bikes that I was able to overtake. Also the first 2 laps with Fabio, we have two contacts, so it was more fun. It was more fun, but you know, we are just talking all the time that we cannot overtake due to the wings, due to the pressure of the front tire, but also we have to remember that the level of every rider in this category now is unbelievable. So forget the technology, forget the aerodynamics. Everybody brakes late. Everybody's very fast and nobody's making mistakes. So this is the reason why it's difficult to overtake. But today I think the show was a little bit better, and unfortunately I couldn't fight for the victory at the end, but I enjoyed more than Jerez.
And how important was this race for you and Aprilia in particular? I mean, Aprilia have never had great success here in Mugello, but it's another proof that Aprilia are here to stay in this fight for the championship, and yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I was aiming for the victory, but I take the podium. I'm very happy with the points that I bring back home, and Mugello is always very difficult circuit to fight against the Ducatis. It's true that today I was hoping to reduce the gap with Fabio. I lost the opportunity. He was very, very fast, but the Aprilia, I have to say that today the engine was very good, actually better than Fabio's one, but I was not able to beat him. But the bike works very good, so yeah, we are very close, and hopefully we can reduce the gap in my home GP.
Another big race next weekend, your home Grand Prix. I mean, you're literally born next door to the Barcelona circuit, so you must be looking forward to going there and fighting for a 5th consecutive podium now, Alex, next week.
I will try, or the 2nd victory, why not? I'm very happy, you know, very enjoying the moment. You cannot believe how much I'm enjoying this moment. For sure it's going to be the most special home GP of my career because I arrived there fighting for the title in MotoGP. And yes, I will try my best. I think Barcelona layout, it's going to be good for my bike. I will give everything I had to fight for the victory in front of my people, and let's see if we can stress a little bit more Fabio and put more emotion on the championship.
Another great job this weekend by you and Aprilia, Aleix. We look forward to more of the same next weekend in Catalonia. Well done.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
He's still firmly in touch, isn't he, Aleix Espargaro, in this World Championship battle. As he told us there, he's been doing plenty of overtaking this afternoon. Started 7th on the grid and didn't make that early progress that perhaps he might have hoped for. But just explain to us why perhaps we saw a little bit more overtaking today than perhaps we have in recent races.
Yeah, that's a good one, actually, because it comes down to layout. Like, for example, it's not just the braking areas where you can get past here, because there's 3 second gear chicanes, because you have to pull it, for example, as you go in, because you have to pull it left to get the exit, you leave a hole for someone to stuff it in, and don't worry about the exit, just get in there. And that's why you see the guys always passing in the chicanes, and the layout allows for more overtakes. Basically, it's that. And so there was less trouble with tyre temperature here, cooler day.
Yeah, cooler conditions today, the coolest of the weekend. Let's quickly rattle through some of the other key runners before we go. KTM's lead challenger today was Brad Binder, a sensational ride to 7th for him from 16th on the grid, and he finished just 4 seconds off the win. And a good day for the Binder family in general, because Darren was super impressive too.
Yeah, I spoke to Pit Byra on the live interview on the grid, and he said they were relying on a bit of
Brad attack.
Brad attack, was it? Yeah, I couldn't remember and it must be so good for them to know they can rely on his Sunday magic, you know. And he never gave up. The last couple of laps, he was hunting down who was in front of him.
Marini.
Marini, exactly. And lap time wise was super impressive right till the last lap. Awesome effort. Like Honda, KTM having a tough time at the moment, and Brad seems one of the few people in the world that can just force it, you know, and make it happen. So hats off, super impressive. Then getting to his brother, you just mentioned, Darren Binder. I mean, Bezzecchi obviously was the rookie of the day, you know, but Darren Binder, I had to mention him during the race because I couldn't believe the lap times he was doing. You know, the guys come through from Moto 3 has such a steep learning curve without the experience in Moto 2, and it kind of makes sense if he's got the ability that it'll start to show around now coming to mid-season. And boy, did it do it today. Like, he passed his teammate, you know, Dovizioso, who's on the later version bike, then hunted down. I was watching the gap come down. Lap time wise was super impressive. Low 48s the whole way, real consistent, didn't make a mistake, and then passed Morbidelli. I mean, and then finished behind Jack Miller. Jack had a problem, you know, early on, but super impressive ride, and I think a lot of people will notice what Darren Binder did today.
Yeah, he was just 20 seconds off the winner in the end, Darren Binder. And don't forget, he had to serve a long lap penalty in the early stages of the Grand Prix after crashing under yellow flags on Friday afternoon. Two other manufacturers we haven't told about, so let's quickly cover them before we go. Suzuki and Honda. Suzuki, another race to forget to them. Of course, they didn't qualify particularly well and finished, well, neither rider finished. That's back-to-back DNFs for the second consecutive Grand Prix for them. And Honda, Taka Nakagami, solid performance there. Marc Marquez as well inside the top 10, but time of uncertainty coming up, I suppose, for both teams.
Well, we know that Honda are having a tough time, you know, so that everyone on the Hondas is struggling. They are struggling, you know. But when you talk about Suzuki, that's a more proven motorcycle, but it didn't seem to work here, did it? Because both riders, both riders were having a tough time, possibly different things, but Mir was talking about not being able to stop the bike. I'm wondering if that's gadgets or something, you know, front tyre pressure, something's not going right. And it's not too different a layout next week with more temperature. They might have more of the same hassle. I hope not. Yeah.
So what do we expect then from the Catalan Grand Prix? Next up, next weekend, the circuit at Barcelona Catalan. You'll be there in 5 days' time for Friday free practice. It's a circuit that Fabio Quartararo has gone at very well in the past. He won there in 2020, took his first podium there as well in 2019. Last year, of course, we saw Miguel Oliveira take a victory on the KTM ahead of Zarco's Ducati. It's a circuit that has a little bit of everything, doesn't it? So I guess it won't suit one motorcycle necessarily over another, or what do you think?
I haven't had a long time to think about this, but the standout thing to remember about Catalunya is rear tyre life. If you remember all the past races, people take off at the front, burn up the rear tyre, and then try to hang on as the guys that have looked after their rear tyres hunt them down, and it's a gamble who's going to finish in front of who. So the biggest thing about Catalunya, it's got a long straight, you need good top speed. It's got two crazy hard braking areas, so you need the bike to stop really well. But the biggest thing is you have to make the rear tyre last, and that whoever does that is going to win the race.
Well, that's all to come next weekend. Do not miss the Grand Prix of Catalonia next weekend. We enter a busy phase of the season. This is the first of 4 races in 5 weekends, so do not miss the Catalan Grand Prix next weekend. But that's all we've got time for. My thanks to Simon Crafar for joining me throughout the weekend. We look forward to your company in Barcelona next weekend. But until then, from the two of us, it's bye for now.
The Oakley Grand Prix of Italy in MotoGP is go. Great launch off the line by the Tom and Fabio Di Gianantonio. Marco Bezzecchi stuttered away on that Muni VR46 Ducati. Really good start by the world champion Fabio Quartararo as well. But Gianantonio, the pole man, is that leads.
One of the VR46 Ducatis is Luca Marini, who's now battling, and he does get himself into the lead.
And look at this, Fabio Quartararo is going to get absolutely swamped. He's getting mullered here in terms of top speed. Bagnaia comes through on Marini and Quartararo. Pecco Bagnaia goes for the lead. He gets some slipstream. Moved here on the break. Straight away he's gone for it. Up into second place. What a 20 points this would be for Fabio Quartararo. As Aleix Espargaro then goes for it up the inside of Marco Bezzecchi down into Scarperia. It looks like we're going to have an Italian rider on an Italian machine in the Italian Grand Prix.